Hello and welcome back to another Day Traders FX Money Minute video. This is the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, and it is June 20th, 2016. The reason we opted for this particular currency pair is because in the wake of the Brexit or the EU/UK referendum, where the Great British Pound or the UK is deciding whether to stay or go in the European Union, these particular currency pairs should not be as heavily affected as others. So this week you're going to see lots and lots of movement, potentially, textbook and technical, or very atechnical and sloppy and crazy volatility on pairs like the euro, the Great British Pound, perhaps the Swiss franc and the US dollar, and even the Japanese yen. So, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, two commodity-based currency pairs, hopefully some steady and clean movement, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at this currency pair right now. So the chart that I have on is the New Zealand CAD on a weekly chart, and the data goes back to about 2008 or late 2008. Now again, that's not a ton of history for about 7 or 8 years worth of data, but what we can see right now is over the last couple years we've had some really solid resistance around this 95, 80 or 9600 high, and we've also broken this pretty massive trend line that goes all the way back to the lows in 2009. So because we have a little bit of a carry differential here, the New Zealand dollar continues to hold its 2.25 basis points interest rate, while the CAD remains around 0.5%. So there is that kind of carry potential, which is why this continues to stay a little bit higher. But as we go into some smaller time frames, let's go from the weekly down to the daily. What I thought was interesting on this currency pair is after we broke this trend line, we had a nice little bullish pattern that pushed it right back up. But we failed once again at these highs on the New Zealand CAD, and we came right back down to below that really significant trend line. Now, I don't think this is a pair necessarily to rush into, but what I'm looking for this particular Money Minute video or this week is I think we have some really clean trading on the right hand side of this trend line. So we're down to a 4-hour chart now, connecting the lows here from back in late May. Currently about a month worth of movement where we've had some higher highs and higher lows. But what I think we're looking for is if we get a trend line break and we see price kind of gravitate up towards the trend line, retesting these highs, or anything failing on the right hand side of the trend line, New Zealand CAD looks pretty solid for a movement down towards this little level. This blue line represents a monthly pivot. And give or take, let's just go ahead and say that we get a confirmation break around 90.50. This monthly pivot is sitting around 8,800. All right, so that's not too shabby as far as profit opportunity. We're looking for over 200 pips worth of movement, and hopefully this pair is solidifying a bit of a high. So there's a couple ways that we're looking to play this. If you use charts like TradingView, they do a great job of allowing you to set a lot of chart alarms on price and trend lines. So this trend line does have an alarm, and I will be getting it on my phone. We'll let our members know at Day Traders FX. So if we get a nice clean trend line break, we're looking for price to close on the right hand side of the trend line. With a pair like this that often will not trend strongly, it will typically break the trend line and kind of mess around and consolidate around the right hand side of the trend line. But the stop losses would be above these highs, or even if it came back up to retest the high, we would look for a failure near that high and on the right hand side of the trend line for another aggressive trade to get this going down towards that monthly pivot. So it's a trade that we're going to be treating with our members, probably starting with some relatively small trade sizes. And what that will look like is if we get a break of this trend line, we might add one position here and just kind of wait. And if it goes our favor, we'll look to lock in some profits and protect that trade. If it pulls back a little bit higher, we'll probably add a second position on another trend line confirmation. And from there, we'll kind of let it work its magic, take out some of these lows if it establishes a low on a trend line break, and then just kind of work its way down in its trendless type fashion. But it does like to find these pivot levels, and like we looked at on the larger time frame, the daily, the weekly chart, we are kind of nearing those resistance levels, and we have a couple noted here with that larger trend line area that was broken on the daily chart. So let me go back to the daily chart. So this trend line here is the more significant trend line that was broken, showing that we could have some bearish continuation. However, realizing that this low is a really substantial low that created a bullish sign, and then this low is really where price, if we get this trade that we're looking for and it does find this monthly pivot, there is potential for us to be wanting to hang on to this trade to see if we can indeed break lower take out this low, and then use the backside of this larger trend line for a more significant move to the downside. So what starts off as hopefully a very clean trade on a 4-hour chart could allow us to protect and manage some profits for much more than just the 200 pips that we're after, potentially breaking this monthly pivot, going lower, taking out this low around 8,600 and heading into some much deeper bearish territory where possibly more New Zealand dollar type intervention would take place. We might see New Zealand dollar, US dollar across the board moving lower, Aussie New Zealand moving up, pound New Zealand, euro New Zealand moving up. So what we're really kind of game planning here is we want to see some Kiwi weakness. And in order to get that, I think this is a very clean looking trade with a 4-hour trend line. We have this monthly pivot below about 200 pips away. So we're looking for this kind of 90-50 level to break. And while I have this chart up and it's nice and handy, I am going to set a chart alarm at 90.50. So 90.50 chart alarm is set on that price point. If it does break below 90.50, I'll also be receiving a trend line alert to go alongside that, and that will kind of help us determine where we want to take some action. Like I said, this pair does not like to trend, and it likes to find a lot of balance. So if it does break the trend line, that is good for our confirmation, and I think we're going to be using a couple of entries here to kind of start relatively small so we can add to that position and improve our net position, and then have this fall on the right hand side of the trend line for those few hundred pips. And then if we are participating in the trade up here and it does indeed fall down to this monthly pivot and go lower, we would love to capitalize on that break lower and just be looking to hold these profits longer and even start adding some additional positions on some trend line breaks. So we might actually experience a trend on this if we break out of these kind of major areas and take out these major lows. And that would be pretty fantastic. And that would be similar to what we had happen last year. The New Zealand CAD broke a pretty massive trend line, and this high to low, let me just go ahead and use this measurement tool here. This high to low was about 1,200 pips. So it can trend. And when it's ready to trend, hopefully we are gauging this in the right area where if it wants to head to the downside, we're going to get a head start, protect some profits, and then look for a further run to the south. So back on this chart, again, we're looking to take action here on the 4-hour chart, just a really nice clean trend line, having a price alert set at 90.50, looking for a trend line break, most likely adding a small position or half of our normal trade size on that confirmation break, and then having a second position on any pullback or retest or rejection of the trend line. From there, we're looking for price to take out whatever lows are established, start making new lows, and then look for lower highs and lower lows towards that monthly pivot, and that will allow us to start taking some profit or protecting those profits. And let's see if we can see some generosity or niceness out of the market to break even lower for us. So that is New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Again, in the wake of all of this Brexit news, this is a fairly safe currency pair to be watching. Nothing crazy on either the CAD or the New Zealand dollar this week. And plus, with two heavily correlated commodity-based currency pairs, it likely won't be as affected as you're going to see with the dollar, the Swiss, the euro, the Great British Pound, the Japanese yen. Those pairs might be all over the maps in all sorts of different directions. So we don't really want to be participating in sloppiness. We want something nice and clean and easy to follow. So that is this currency pair. So New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, looking for a 4-hour trend line break, trying to target a few hundred pivots, and trying to let our profits run with some further breakdowns. So this is a Money Minute video at Day Traders FX. You can come to our website, daytradersfx.com. If you'd like to learn more about us or you want to take a test drive of our services, you can click on Join, and you can sign up. It takes about 20 to 30 seconds to sign up for a free trial, and you can test all of our services for 1 full week. All of our trials that typically turn into our monthly members are here with a few different options. We have an on-demand membership for those that are international and it's not convenient to join us live each and every day. We do a $50 a month unlimited streaming service for our on-demand library. I will show you what that looks like in 1 second. Our monthly and annual memberships where we have live sessions, email alerts, notifications, pretty much the works here on a monthly basis. Or to save some money, you save about $158 on membership, and we're also throwing in complimentary on-demand memberships for our annuals. So for the annual membership, you're getting a $600 value with all of our recordings. You're also saving some money on the monthly memberships as well. So going back to that on-demand, what does that look like? If you click on the on-demand tab here on our website, it takes you to this page. All of our sessions are recorded. We provide these daily dose recaps Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We provide a weekly watch list where we plan everything out for the week on Mondays, and then we recap everything on Friday. So Day Traders FX is live each and every day, Monday through Friday. And our video library is available for everyone's convenience. So for the a la carte purchases, you can come in and just rent or buy our videos. For the unlimited streaming, if you have the on-demand membership, it is $50 a month. Or like we said, we include that for our annual members. It is a complimentary service. We just give them VIP access to our on-demand library. So that is daytradersfx.com. This is our on-demand library, and this is what our member portal looks like for our live members. You can come on in. We have our social section where we're chatting and communicating with our instructors each and every day. We post charts. Our members are very active in here 24/7, posting their trade setups and their trade ideas. We're also sharing, our highs and lows and things like that. We also have our active positions for live trades that we're in. We have our watch list that is updated and monitored each and every day. And when we're in our live positions, they become active. They also are trade alerts that are sent directly to your email or phone, or however convenient you have it set up. We're having our active positions go directly to you. So lots of good stuff happening at Day Traders FX. Again, this is a Money Minute video series on the New Zealand CAD. We hope you enjoy the video, and we'll see you at Day Traders FX. Join us for a trial, become a member, and we look forward to talking with you soon. Take care.